Love chosen out of desperation is not the same as love chosen out of possibility, my friend. Because it is only when you have the complete freedom with the free will that God has given us to choose everything other, but still choose the one anyways. That's when you know your love is true, my friend. You have to have the freedom to choose every other possible option and see it before you in this lifetime, and still choose that person anyways. Acknowledging the fact that there's always going to be someone who is prettier, funnier, smarter, has more money, more successful in many other ways, my friend. But still showing up and choosing that person daily anyways. And it is not because they make you feel a certain way. It is not because they give you certain things, my friend, or fulfill certain needs in your life, but it's because you purely love them for them. And in the same way, my friend, you ask yourself the question, have you fallen in love with the benefits that God has given you, the consolation of prayer, or God himself? And so the test isn't about when things are going bad and when you're desperate, my friend, and you cling on to the one thing that you know best, or it is only then that you choose God or choose that person, my friend, when times are low. The real test is when things are going good, when everything in your life is going well, my friend, when you have all of these other options in front of you, all of the other possibilities that you can see play out, that could potentially give you a better or different future, at least that you see in the moment, alright, filled with temporary joy and happiness, and that to give you a greater rush than what you're feeling right now, and still choosing to reject those other possibilities and other options, my friend, for the sake that you've already made this decision, you've already made this vow, my friend, to live a life of discipline, of virtue, a path following in Jesus' footsteps, in following God, my friend. But it's only when you can see that's a life living and following all those other things, these temporary joys, my friend, these fleeting moments, these fantasies that go inside of your head the devil tempts you with, is only when you can experience those and still choose this life of virtue and discipline, that your love will be complete, my friend. That your love will have proven true. And again, it is a lifetime in the works. It is something that you're going to have to show up every single day and still choose. Because, my friend, you've seen the pattern so many times before in your life, in previous generations, and in your contemporaries around you, that even the most successful people, even the greatest of the greats, my friend, they still fall to the same temptations, to lust, to having affairs, to the greed for money, power, fame, whatever you call it, my friend. And so, do not make the same mistake as them. You have the power to break this generational cycle, my friend. You have the power to choose to do better. And don't think that they didn't know any better, my friend. Many of them did know better. Many of them saw the traumas of the generations past that they inflicted onto them, and they still chose to inflict it onto you, my friend. And it is not an easy thing to escape. It is not an easy thing to resist, my friend, because we are all weak. And so the only way to prepare for these moments, my friend, again, it is many moments, it's every day that you're going to have to choose this. The only way to truly prepare for this, it's not simply professing your faith in God in a single moment or a single day, especially only when things are going bad and when you're desperate, my friend. But you've heard it said that virtue is a habit, my friend. The same way prayer and devotion to God, obedience to God, it is a habit. And so, wisdom without obedience is nothing to God. It's useless to God. Don't be like Solomon, my friend. Be like David. Be like Jesus. David, who was the great king and who started off very well, but then who fell even later in his life. But at the end, he chose to come back to God and to repent. That's the difference between Judas and Peter. He gave up his own life. He gave up on trusting in God, that even God's mercy could outweigh the shame and guilt and his own failure. But what did Peter do? He denied God 3 times. He denied Jesus 3 times, even after seeing him in his full divinity. Even after walking on water and seeing all these miracles before his very eyes, my friend, Peter still denied Jesus 3 times. And you think that you wouldn't either. And so the test is not about, whether or not you're going to fall or not, my friend. You will. God will always humble you. As it has been said, the greatest shall serve the least, and the least shall stand over the greatest, my friend. Even in heaven, it is this way. And so, it's the same with Lucifer, my friend. The only thing that really is important in the end is whether or not you get back up after you fall, my friend. You acknowledge that you need God's help and His mercy this time, and you change your ways. That's why He had to humble you. That's why He had to throw all these tests in this lifetime. You had to experience so much grief and suffering, my friend. I know that it's not easy. I know that it's tempting to want to give up after all that. And you question, how can I keep going? How can I keep doing this even though I keep falling and failing again and again and again? I keep falling back into sin. Others keep betraying me. Others keep hurting me. No one else is changing in this world, my friend. No matter how hard I try or what I do, it's never going to be enough. And so you want to give up, my friend. That is the real test. That in these moments where you're doubting and you're despairing, where all you have are tears for God, and that's the only prayer that you can really give. If that's all you can give, my friend, then for today, it is enough. So keep showing up. Just don't give up, my friend. I know that's easy to say and hard to hear, uncomforting, and doesn't bring much consolation, my friend. But again, the real test is, how do you come back from this? Will you let God, will you trust Him enough to take away this pain and to take away all your suffering? Or will you continue to keep tormenting yourself by not allowing Him to heal your hearts and to forgive yourself, my friend? Because oftentimes God has already forgiven us after we've asked for His forgiveness. But what kills us is we never learn how to forgive ourselves, my friend, to let go. To let go of all the pain and the shame for all the wrong things that we've done. And it is only at this very, very bottom end of the spectrum of love, my friend, of possibility, that when you choose God, whether it is in the highest of highs or in this lowest of low, my friend, as long as you've built this discipline, this habit of virtue, of prayer, of always choosing God no matter where you're at, giving thanks to God when He has blessed you in this lifetime, and asking God for help and His mercy when life is testing you, regardless of what prayer it is, as long as it is a prayer, my friend, even if it's a complaint, even if it's silence, even if it's just tears, as long as you give it up to God, as long as you just don't stop wrestling with God, my friend, that is true love, and that is true faith, my friend. That is what it means to choose God, even after all the possibility, and not just out of desperation, my friend. Using the free will that He has gifted you with. Life itself, the source of goodness itself, my friend. Acknowledging that this is a gift and choosing Him in every possibility. Even when the devil tempts you with something that seems better. It is in choosing Him in these moments that you just might be saved, my friend. And so, keep showing up, keep getting back up, my friend. And just don't give up. I love you, my friends. And He does, too.